GPT-4 was released yesterday, and I'm super excited about it. Incredible jump in terms of artificial intelligence. We're going to dive into some of the 5 key differentiators of GPT-4 when compared to GPT-3. So folks who are familiar, GPT stands for General Pre-Training. It's one of the greatest advances in the last couple of years in terms of artificial intelligence, and OpenAI has released a new model. This new model is a huge jump in terms of the capabilities of artificial intelligence. We're going to dive into it. I've been reading the research paper that OpenAI published, and there's a number of big changes and a number of things that haven't actually changed. So first and foremost, the technology is simply better on a number of facets. They ran OpenAI's GPT-4 through the ringer, comparing it with the previous GPT3.5 to see how it did on a number of tests. And what's really incredible is it's able to perform these tests significantly better. This includes the LSAT, the SAT, even the bar exam. When you compare GPT-4 compared to GPT3.5, it's now scoring in the top 10% for the bar exam.
Do I dare ask you to call your next witness?
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor.
This technology is actually better than 90% of all lawyers when you put it through this standardized test. It's absolutely incredible. Now, lawyer jokes aside, it's just incredible to see how quickly this technology has advanced in just the last year. Now, the second biggest difference in GPT-4 is that it's multimodal, and this really means that it can take 2 pieces of input, both text and an image, and put those together. So you can provide GPT-4 with text and image information. This is a huge leap in technology because when you think about it, most of the web, most of the interactions, most of the information that we deal with is a combination of images and text, not just text on its own. So now you can really feed it entire research papers, entire documents with figures and images. And one of the examples that they gave was taking one of the previous OpenAI papers on artificial intelligence and feeding it through GPT-4 and having it answer questions. And the fact that it can do this with both text and images is a huge revolution in terms of artificial intelligence. This brings us to the next point. The next big difference about GPT-4 when compared to GPT-3 is that it can take a lot more tokens. GPT-3.5 was able to take about 2,000 tokens. This is a couple paragraphs, maybe a page or 2 of text, but not much more. The new GPT-4 is able to take over 30,000 tokens. That equates to around 25,000 words of text. They have 2 different models. One is an 8,000 token model. The other is a 32,000 token model. And so you can really feed GPT-4 a lot more information. This means it can read research articles, entire chapters of books, and other large documents.
So I literally just went to the blog post from 2 weeks ago, copy pasted from the blog post, including the response format. It has not seen the new image extension to that. And so I just kind of wrote that up in, just very minimal detail about how to include images. And now the model can actually leverage that documentation that it did not have memorized, that it does not know.
And this means we can really use this technology to better understand complex documents, complex structures. This can include legal documents, this include research papers, this include medical journals, or other things that require a lot of information, new information that GPT-4 wasn't necessarily pre-trained on, but by feeding all these tokens in, it's able to make intelligent inferences, intelligent suggestions, and really understand the content that you're providing it and be able to answer questions relevant to that content. The next big change is that GPT-4 can really understand semantics. And this is really due to the model growing in size. Because it's such a large model, it has so much information, has been fine-tuned by so much data, it can really understand and start making intelligent predictions on inference, semantics, and causality. And here's an example where you can show it an image of a balloon and say what is going to happen when we snip the balloons and it takes off. Or here's an image and can you explain what makes this particular image funny? So this is an image of a VGA connector to a lightning, and not only is GPT-4 able to understand the image, it's able to infer the meaning behind the image and what makes it funny. Here's another example of that same concept where we're showing it a picture of a bunch of chicken nuggets and asking it, what does it see? What does it interpret? And why is this funny? And so understanding humor, understanding images, understanding the nuance of some of these situations is really incredible in terms of an advance for artificial intelligence. This allows us to really use the AI not just to process and have conversations, but really to observe and understand insights. And insights and inference and causality is really an important step in terms of artificial intelligence and applying it to a whole new set of problems. And the last big surprise about GPT-4 is actually what it's not good at. And the OpenAI researchers are really on point, calling out that there's a number of things that OpenAI and GPT technology isn't particularly good at. So this model has been pre-trained. It's taken months and months to train it, millions and millions of dollars. But because it's pre-trained, it's not able to learn. It's not able to adapt new information. So tell something to GPT-4 today, it's not necessarily going to remember that tomorrow, the next day, the day after that. The way humans learn, we learn over time, we build up that model, and our mental model is constantly evolving. GPT is really trained over a number of months, and so it's not necessarily learning. The other drawback about GPT-4 technology is that it's prone to hallucinations. And this means that the GPT technology will occasionally make up things and it will sound incredibly convincing about that information, even though it's entirely false. And so we need to have a little bit of skepticism when we're using GPT technology, check our references, make sure that the thing that GPT is telling you is in fact real. That being said, it is incredibly good. It's incredibly good at producing information. We can already play with GPT-4 technology if we're experimenting with Microsoft's Bing service. Bing chat search is using elements of GPT-4. The ChatGPT Pro version is also using elements of GPT-4. So folks who want to play around with it can certainly do that. If you're a developer, you can sign up on the GPT-4 waiting list to get put on the queue for playing around with the technology. I'm already on the queue and excited to play around with that as well. I'm incredibly bullish about GPT technology and how it's going to change the user interface, user experience. I'm mentoring a number of founders in the GPT and ChatGPT technology and API space. If you're a founder, definitely reach out to me. If you're not, that's okay too. Like the video, subscribe. I'm Greg Raiz. I talk about technology, entrepreneurship, and design. I'll catch you on the next one.